But just for a minute, I'd like to stop thinking about bridges and start thinking about corridors, because we really want to not just cross a river, but get from Washington deep into Oregon and back. And when we focus on just a bridge as what's happened before, the CRC for instance, we could have spent $3 billion and not gotten to Portland 1 minute faster. So we really want to talk about corridors today. And I'd like to backtrack just a little bit here. Do you remember when, about 20 years ago, when the Blazers were in their glory? And we could go to the Rose Quarter with ease, watch a game, and get back home in 15 or 20 minutes. And we weren't fatigued, it wasn't a hassle. And it's just amazing to think about that time and what we have to do now. We have to plan like we're going to Europe or something, or battle or something, to get in and out of Portland. You time your things to go. And one of the reasons why 20 years ago it was so easy is because 20 years, 30 years before that, our forefathers had planned ahead. And they saw in the 60s and 70s that there was going to be congestion on the I-5 corridor. They spent years planning, arguing, and in 1983, an East Side bypass, what a concept. An East Side bypass was open. It started clear down here south of Portland, went all the way north here, across the beautiful Glen Jackson Bridge, and comes clearing up here in Vancouver. Now, we take this for granted now, and we go on it every week, and it's just there, and it serves us. But it serves us less well now, because it's congested as the I-5. But once upon a time, I was there when it opened, and it flowed really nicely. So we are challenged now with the same challenge with two river crossings that are gridlocked. And it's our opportunity now to step up to the plate, just like our forefathers did, and consider a profound concept of West Side bypass. They did an East Side, we should do a West Side. So I'd like to introduce you a concept called the West Side bypass, called the West Express. And here's the current Interstate 5 and the Interstate Bridge that we've talked about that has antiquity and flavor and a lot of things. And here's the I-5 corridor that's so congested, it comes down here. Here's this circle, 405 and I-5 that is congested. This backs up all the way out here, backs up this intersection, I know because I come in from Hood River, and a farm that I have up there, and I have to wait here 10, 15 minutes just to get on this freeway to get up here. So this problem here affects all the way out here and affects all the way out here. So what we are proposing is a high-speed expressway going from Vancouver straight through to North Portland, connecting to 405 here, ultimately connecting, not here, but probably up here further, to Highway 26 out here, so that eventually, as enlightenment dawns, a continuation can continue down here, clear down and come in at Aurora, and the West Side bypass will be complete. So this consists of an 8-lane expressway, three lanes north and 3 lanes south, flanked by a dedicated high-speed merge lane. It's limited access, so you merge at high speed, and there's none of that congestion of merging. It consists of crossing the wetlands here on viaducts and coming down here through a railroad cut, going in the airspace over the Burlington Northern and connecting down here. Let's look at these kind of as a, well, I wanted to say one more thing. This is all a flexible bridge or a flexible passageway that contains a bridge here and contains a beautiful fig bridge here. It is HOV compatible, autonomous vehicles, and bus rapid transit compatible so that we can accommodate to the future of electric cars, etc. So let's look at it in phases here, because this is a big elephant, and we all know how you eat an elephant, only one bite at a time. So if we look at phase 1A, we start here in Vancouver, connecting to interstate SR14, which easily crosses right over I-5, crosses over all of the current merge lanes, doesn't touch them at all, comes here, picks up this industrial area, crosses on a beautiful fig bridge, probably very similar to the one proposed out here that we just looked at. I don't really know, but anyway, comes down here and picks up the Port of Portland and has a spur going out here and ready to go on, but we would initially tie it back into I-5 here through existing on-ramps so that we have bypassed the current interstate bridge, and voila, we have 2 bridges now for the price of 1. We could spend all our efforts focusing on this and replacing it, and we have 1 bridge that goes nowhere. If we spend the same amount of money doing this, we can have 2 bridges for the price of 1. Plus, as you all know, there's considerable pain and congestion when there's road work. Think about a bridge. They've got to provide temporary passage for traffic. It slows down construction, increased construction costs by, I would say, probably 20, 25%. Linda could tell us what that does. So we can take that extra money and build a beautiful new seismically sound bridge here and come back in here so that we have secured our transportation as we build out this expressway. Phase 2, this is phase 1A and 1B, then continues down here, as we said, in the Burlington Northern right-of-way through the railroad cut. By going in this existing corridor here, we impact existing infrastructure and buildings very little. There's hardly any there. We come down here and we have a spur that picks up Swan Island. That's Industrial Park number 3. And then we come down here and come into I-405, connecting Northwest Portland Industrial Park. So that is phase 1A and 1B. In doing this, you can see all of a sudden we take a lot of truck traffic off this and auto traffic. We estimate probably 1/3 of this flow will move over here, maybe even more. Suddenly, when you take that much traffic off this, you can see how this is going to start flowing much better. All of this will start flowing better, and this will flow better, but it's not fixed yet. So a phase 2 would be to, actually we're going to redraw this line up here. We met with Mayor Wiley here a while ago, and Liz and I and others did, and he said, hey, you know, we really need to look at this more and use the, what's the name of this pass up here? Cornelius Pass, right? Yeah, use this area. So we'll probably redraw this line, come up here, come through the mountains here and connect up here. He told us that Intel has a truck with $1 million payload of chips that leaves several times a week for Seattle, and it has to meet critical timelines for just-in-time chips to China. And they do not go down here because of the undependable nature of this flow. So they go up here over this tortuous Cornelius Pass. They drive up here on this 2-lane road. they cross over at Longview, and they catch I-5 up here. We can do a lot better by the industries that we depend on, both as a culture and as a community for jobs, by providing this flow down here and go right there and catch that. So that's phase 2. Then, once we have unloaded this whole corridor, because when we put this through here, all of a sudden this moving parking lot here goes away, and this whole system will really flow. And we will have fixed my problem getting back to Portland from my farm right there, and your problems. And then, and only then, I feel like, can we look at this bridge out here. This is actually in the wrong place. It should be over here on 192nd, coming through. As Linda so nicely showed us, that can be done. It's like almost like a no-brainer. And I'm told it was, I think, $1 billion or so, or less. Yeah, and that is amazing. This is going to be a lot more expensive. But it seems to me a precondition to anything else we do is to unload this corridor, because only when we unload that do we take pressure off this and pressure off the 205. So phase 3 unloads then 205, allows truck traffic from eastern Oregon coming down Interstate 84 that wants to go to Seattle, come here, go there, and we don't even tie up any of this. So that's a very important part of it. Then, phase 4, then we can look at this. Look at the existing I-5 bridge and decide, are we going to earthquake proof it? Engineers have told me it would take less than $500 million to earthquake-proof the existing bridge, or at least upsize it reasonably, and keep it. We could envision it as obviously you're going to be able to get throughput through here, but preserving all of the approaches, all of the merges. This can be primarily a local access bridge for Hayden Island and all of this industrial area here in North Portland, where the expressway gets everybody down here quickly. So then, we're not done yet. If we have any energy or money left after all that, what we'd really like to see is this connected all the way up here, somewhere up here, this side of Bridgefield, with the by the fairground coming down here, and we followed some drainage patterns to minimize homes and roads and come down here, honoring the wetlands once again, coming down here, tying in. What I want to emphasize, one thing here is, maybe we can show with this next. So here's the West Express total. One more thing. Right here, Linda, we have some vacant land right there. That's right by the Port of Portland, all the railroad, trucking, sea lanes, many acres of land for your staging area. You can make that your home for about 15 years where you build all this out. And it's right proximal, almost central to everything. I don't own that land, but I'm sure we can figure out some way to get it for you. Okay, I want to just look at something near and dear to us Vancouver folks' hearts here. You saw the huge structure that the CRC plan would have put in this area right here, with circles wiping out office buildings, concrete, I don't know, 1/8 of a mile wide there, and then down here on the island, just a lot of, I don't know, just a Gordian knot. And inconceivable what that would do to commerce while we build it, inconceivable to the quality of life in Vancouver in this area. And what we would like to propose is we can create some lanes here that sweep right in and follow the railroad track on the north side at the level of the railroad track. Doesn't interfere with City Hall, doesn't interfere with any office buildings. We can access the West Express here from SR 14 by creating new fast exiting lanes in the center of the road. We've got plenty of room to widen SR 14 here, so the existing lanes are out here, and the fast lanes go with a gentle arch over here and carry the traffic rapidly here to crossing the bridge, the West Express Bridge, right by the railroad bridge here. This gets us downstream from the interstate bridge. We don't have any conflict with any airports or approaches here, and we can get it high enough so the Coast Guard isn't going to be concerned about our bridge like they were here. So we feel like this minimizes, to the extent we best can, impact on downtown Vancouver and the quality of life here. There's a beautiful development going in here, and right now they are going to have a difficult time accessing this area, and I would think that this whole concrete structure here would be an adverse to the development, and we can go around them, carry the traffic. The West Express up here would connect to all of the efforts that have already been put in place to make traffic flow better on Mill Plain. And then there's 4th Plain and then 500 ways to access. So we can move traffic off I-5 progressively over onto the West Express, unloading this whole congestion here, making the quality of life for downtown Vancouver and the residents much better. I'll move quickly here to, and we'll finish this up. Talk about bus rapid transit. Here we are, right just east of Beach's Restaurant in the old Victory Shipyards. And Grand Central is right here, the shopping area. And this is all undeveloped land. There's something going in right here. It would be so easy to create an exit here from SR 14, have a multi-story transit structure here that we could park our cars in, have an all-weather bus depot on the first floor so you could go in the rain and catch your rapid transit buses there, easy access back onto SR 14 to catch the West Express to Portland. So here we are, phase 1A, construction staging, phase 1B, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So long-range planning through the people of Portland Metro. These are not sacred, what is sacred is the concept of a west side bypass. Every bit as sacred as our east side bypass. The exact route needs to be determined over time by a lot of conversations, but let's agree on this and get moving. Thank you.